So today, guys, we are going to be showing you guys some of the best settings you want to change. There are a ton of settings in the game, and if you notice, you always go here and you can change so many different settings. Now, I've been playing on PC, and this video is actually done on a PS4 or PS5. But what I will tell you guys is a lot of the gameplay settings, a lot of the settings I'll be showing you will work on both, and it's some of the settings I have changed on both. Now, when you get into your graphics, when you get into things like that, that is more GPU based, CPU based. So those settings are really based on what you have, right? So I'm not gonna do a video on that, but I wanna do more in-game settings they don't tell you to change, and that's gonna be good here. So let's get into it. We're gonna start off with gameplay. So this should be the same whether you're on PC, PlayStation 5, or Xbox. So we go to gameplay, and a thing I like turning off is the show the vault indicators. I feel like it cleans up your UI system. If you're new, you might want to keep this on, but all that really does is if I put it on, you go here, you'll start to see this little, you click on it, it will show the vault, right? You see the little circle to vault over. For me, I get tired of seeing things like that. That's just how I go about it. You can see right here, another vault indicator, right? I don't like having all those little circles, everything around there. I honestly don't like that. So what I do is I go to my settings and I actually turn that off. I like a clean UI system. It's just how I like having mine set up. Show cover indicators, same thing. When you're in the cover, it'll show the cover to the other side. If you're new to the game, this is a great thing to have. For me, I like having it off. I like a lot cleaner look, but those are two settings you can change and do. On-call status, remember, this is if you're tired of hearing people do backup calls, right? If you go down and you do a backup call, this will start to populate all the calls. If you don't want to have to worry about any of those, that sound coming in, saying an agent requesting backup, you can turn that off. So just up to you. If you get tired of listening to it, that's just an option. You can also do only friends and clan. So you only hear the backup calls if your friends or clans do that. That's actually a good option. Or you can have it completely off. The auto hide HUD, I actually like this on, and what that does is it cleans up your UI when you have it. So if you had it on, you see the UI where it has my skills, it has everything right there. That always stays, it never hides. So if you go to settings and you turn that off, right, you auto hide, it naturally just go away. So something for you to keep in mind, and we'll see if it just disappears for us real quick. But yeah, that automatically hides that, so you won't see how many bullets you have, stuff like that. It will automatically slowly disappear. So another really cool setting, up to you, right? If you want to have it on or off. Hints, have this on if you're new, maybe returning, but after a while it gets very annoying. If you've been playing the game a long time, recommend turning it off after that. Show damage numbers, I actually like having this on because that way you know how much damage you are doing. Show the radar, that's going to be the top left, also have that on. Now if you want a more tactical experience, right, you don't like having it on your screen, you can turn it off and then you won't see it up at the top left. So it cleans up your screen a little. So really up to you on what you can do there. Honestly, I keep it on. Show connectivity info. If you have this on, if you back up, you see where it says social, it says I'm in US West. So it shows the server that I'm in. So that's something for you to keep in mind. So US West right there. So something for you. So let's go here real quick. Go back to settings and let's go down. So if you want to kind of know what server you're in, like if you play with friends and they're in Europe, it'll show that, hey, now you're in Europe because you're playing with them, right? Player level visible, I always have this on. Menu glitch effect, really up to you. I keep mine on. Menu strobe on, and then automatic group refill. So this is great for matchmaking. Say you have two people, you match make, and then two people disconnect, and then they don't come back. It'll automatically put more players in there for you, or keep matchmaking without you having to go back and search matchmaking again. Show skills on group frame, highly recommend this, because what this allows you to do is, if you look at where mine is, right, you can see that I have the Banshee Pulse and the Defender Drone. Now when you're in a group, you'll also see their two skills there, so it kind of lets you know, okay, we have someone running a Reviver Hive or something like that. So another really good reason to have that on. You could actually turn it off if you don't. Show numerical skill cooldown time, keep that on. Exit photo mode when taking damage. I think this is great, especially people who like taking photo mode in case you don't want to die. It'd be great. The GPS line, I keep this on, so like say if you hit this control point, you can see the line, right? Now, if you don't want to have that line, well, then turn that off. So that's just something for you there. Let's keep going down. We have enable signature weapon swap effect. I actually turn this off because that swap effect is a little annoying. And so I actually turn it off. For the field of vision, I like keeping mine at max, and I'll show you a couple reasons why. All right, so we're gonna go up. The best way to look at it, you could like look where it says the donut shack, right? I'm gonna have it at the corner of my menu. So you can see how I can see more to my left, more to my right? So one thing you wanna see is if you go here, you go to settings, we go to gameplay, and a lot of people don't know about this. You click on this, you go all the way down, go all the way down. You no longer can see it, right? You no longer can see it. Before we could see it, you see how it zooms everything in? So we're gonna keep this right here, and let's go back to settings, and then we keep going back, and you zoom it in, and boom. Now you can see it, right? You saw it? Now we have this whole area. So not only does it make you, it also gives you the visual illusion that you're sprinting a little bit faster, even though your character moves the same. So that looks cool. I also, for me, like recoil, I feel like recoil patterns, it seems like it's not, the screen isn't jumping as much, remember, because you're pulled back. And you typically see this in a lot of FPS games. People tend to have their field of view maxed out or pushed out. You see it a lot in Call of Duty. So just two settings I would keep off. Motion sickness mode, this is really up to you. And then the HUD tutorials, you could probably have this on, but then at some point you want to turn it off because it gets annoying. So those for gameplay, this will work for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox. We're gonna go to the UI. One of my biggest questions is how do I get the numbers to pop up next to an enemy when I'm shooting them? So you wanna go to scrolling combat text and put floating. Typically it's right here, put floating, and then you'll see those numbers pop up right next to the enemy. If you're doing any type of raid and you kinda wanna know the timer, the raid speed 1 UI is there. That's really just up if you do raids, so it doesn't really matter. Loot beam visible, that's when you get loot and it drops. If you want that beam to show up, if you want that more tactical, you feel like you're in the game, you can turn that off. And then active talents above crosshair, so that's when you zoom in, you'll see the talent if it's active. So kind of something for you guys to keep in mind when you guys are doing that. So gameplay UI, pretty much it. Audio, not gonna go into, that's really up to you. One thing I do want to go into is controls. So some of the controls are going to be the same. Obviously, if you're using mouse and keyboard on PC, some of the buttons will be different, but most of these is what I do. So I'll show you. So for the parkour mode during gameplay, I actually have it off because say if I'm sprinting and I run into cover, it automatically throw me off if I have it on yes. So I kind of like having that off. Now, when I'm doing auto run, that right there is a great way for you to actually just have that on, because that way you could just let your controller just do its thing. So if you're doing auto run, that's fine. But if you're doing but if you do have certain settings that I have, I'll show you. Auto run doesn't really work for you anyway. So for the camera sensitivity, this really depends. This is for controller, really up to you. The same with mouse and keyboard. You need to find the setting that works for you. That's always gonna be, for controller, I run camera sensitivity 15 and aim sensitivity 15. This is on PlayStation 5. Now for mouse and keyboard, you need to figure out what kind of mouse sensitivity you have. Like mine's gonna be different than my friend's who's playing for years. It just really depends on. So on PC, when you're doing that, that's really up to you. From the scope sensitivity modifier, I have mine on 3, and obviously remember this is on controller. So that's how I have that set up there. So for controller vibration, I always keep mine off. Something I feel like helps you control, aim better. You don't have if you want to feel like you're actually shooting something, hey, it's not bad. Button layout, I keep mine on default, but remember that's all personal preference. I'm not gonna tell you what to do there. Left stick, right stick dead zone, it's at 2, and I think this is default, to be honest. If you have a new controller, you don't have to worry about it. Invert white axis, invert X axis, I don't play with that. If you're accustomed to playing with that, hey, go for it. Toggle to sprint, I actually have mine on no. So toggle between needing to hold down the sprint button or not needing. So yes, what it does is I could just tap it and then I can sprint, right? But if you like PvPing, you'll start to notice a lot of the guys have this setting right here. This setting, they have it no. So I can't just tap, I have to hold it. But what it does is it gives you a little bit more precision when you're trying to move around, when trying to strafe. And that's why sometimes you see those players who are really good at strafing, like those guys, give it to them. But yeah, they actually have that off. So really up to you. If you're a PvE player only, to me, I would actually have that on yes. If you play PvP and PvE, well then probably no is gonna be yours. And then you wanna make sure you have a button that you can hold down, because holding down the left joystick probably isn't it. So either switching it to like R1, L1 as your sprint, or if you have like the PlayStation Edge controller that has back buttons, same thing. 180 sprint turn, I actually have mine off. That's really personal preference. Auto look center, that's going to be off. And then enable auto run, I have mine on no. So you can put it on yes if you want. And what it does, if you tap it, right? If you double tap, and you can't do it because I have mine hold to sprint. But if you have it where it's auto, it automatically, that's where vaulting over will work. So 2 settings that you want to have there. Like I said, if you are playing PvE, a lot of these settings you can just have on yes. If you're playing both, then that's where you kind of want to get used to using one or other, because you want to be able to have that movement while you're shooting. Movement can exit cover, always have this on. That means that if I'm in cover, right? If I'm in cover, I can just tap my joystick and back out, right? I can just hit my joystick and I will move out of cover. So really, really cool settings. And that works for whether you're a mouse, keyboard, same settings there, right? Cover, move around corner by button press. I don't believe this one is a setting that you have to worry about too much with mouse and keyboard, but yeah, this is a good one. Move around corner speed, I put that on fast. Aim assist, obviously gonna be on. Grenade aim assist, gonna be on. Hold to aim, I have this on yes. On a controller and on PC, on mouse and keyboard, I have this on yes. Cancel skill while aiming, you can do the yes too, and enter cover and long press, and then that is, I have mine on no. So just some settings that you can have there. Like I said, graphics is totally going to be different whether you're playing on mouse, or whether you're playing on PC or playing on PlayStation 5, Xbox. So I will leave that. One thing I will tell you for graphics on PC, some things that's helped me with not crashing is I actually have HDR off, and I have DX12 off too. So both of those are off for me. Some people have it on and it works great for them. And then in-game overlays for Ubisoft Connect also have that off. So that's about it. Everything else really doesn't matter here. If you want the on-screen keyboard, so you could just hit down and then be able to chat with your teammates, that works good there. But besides that, there's nothing really else you need to worry about here. But these are the main settings, and most of those settings work for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. And like I said, the graphic settings for PC, those types of settings really depends on what GPU you're running and your CPU. You guys know I have a 4090 on my PC, and well, I can run mine almost on all high settings, and I run 4K at 144, and that's just because my monitor is 144. So just something for you guys to keep in mind, that it really depends on what you have for graphic setting. So what we're gonna do here is, guys, is we are going to wrap up this video. I will see you guys in the next one. Hopefully this helps you out. Hey, nothing but skills out. Take it easy, everybody.